All right, guys, we are here at Smash with a very, very special comrade. We have here the man himself, the legend, Mr. Danny Choo.
Thank you for having me.
It's okay, Danny. Just before we start, I'd just like to say that you have been a huge inspiration, to all of us in this room, and that basically the show It's Japan Man would not, exist without you.
Wow.
And you've
Thank
been
you so much.
a huge source of inspiration in
Thank you.
everything that we do.
Thank you.
So I guess to get started, can you please start by telling us what attracted you to Japan in the first place, and I guess too specifically the Japanese pop culture.
So I born and raised in the UK, and I discovered Japanese culture mainly through at the time it was a Sega Mega Drive, and there was also an anime which I fell in love with, which was a Macross Super Dimension Fortress, and it's basically those two titles which lured me into Japanese pop culture. And I wanted to know more about games and so on. So there's no internet at the time, so I had to go to a bookshop called the Japan Center, and they had lots of magazines and books and so on. And from there, I started to discover more about Japanese culture. So there was dramas and idols and music and so on and so on. So up until then, I was completely lost in life. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and then I discovered the Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail,
and which is Japanese culture.
Rightio, fantastic. So I guess you went from the UK to Japan and you started working in Japan. So how did you get started in Japan, working, and how did that lead from leaving your job and starting your own company?
So when I was back in the UK, I did many things to learn Japanese. One of the things I did was take part-time jobs. I got a part-time job with Japan Airlines at the airport.
Yes.
And when I graduated, Japan Airlines said to me, well, why don't you join us as a computer engineer? And the reason why they asked that is not because I had any a degree in engineering or anything like that. It's because they knew that I was dabbling around with computers at home, something on the side basically. And so I joined Japan Airlines for about a year, and it was okay. Now I was working with a Japanese company, but I still wasn't in Japan, and it's always been my goal to live and work in Japan.
Yeah.
So I started to do some the milk rounds, look around to see what was available. Then I came across a position for a scientific journal called Nature. They needed English and Japanese speakers, so I went along for the interview, and I got the interview, and then ended up in Japan. I guess my corporate career in Japan wasn't that long, so I spent I think a year and a half with Nature, the scientific journal, and let's have a look. Oh God. A few years with Amazon as a website manager, and then I joined Microsoft afterwards, but that was only a year. And during that time, I was doing lots of stuff on the side, making websites and so on and so on. So it came to a point whereby I felt that I needed to leave Microsoft to pursue my own thing, and I had some clients already on the side, and that's basically what led me to leaving corporate life.
Excellent.
Now, what got me into Japanese pop culture is, again, through my interests about writing about anime, figures, Gundam on my website, basically.
Excellent.
So that started to attract readership worldwide. And once that happened, then manufacturers in the Japanese industry, they were very interested in my reach. And so we got together, and basically that's how we started to work together, and my entry into my work in the Japanese pop culture.
Awesome. Now, excellent that you brought up your website. We're huge fans of your website, and it's full of so many photo shoots and interesting characters, interesting places. Out of everything you've done, that's on the website, do you have a favorite photo shoot or a favorite spot that you've gone to, I guess in Japan from your website?
A favorite spot. A favorite spot would be quite difficult to name just one. I mean, I've been around to a few places in Japan, and naming one would be quite tough. A couple of years ago, I went to Mount Fuji, and they say that it's very difficult to get a clear photo of Mount Fuji because very often you'll get like these wisps of cloud which will like just like cover the top, and you'll get a photo but of the bottom slice. And so I was very fortunate to like be there one day, and it was like a very very clear day. So and that was quite a memorable experience.
Now, your show, Culture Japan, we also love it. Now, what are your fondest memories of doing the show? Because I'll just tell you right now, we loved when you went to the was it the Edo with the ninjas and stuff. That was hilarious stuff there. So, do you have any fond memories of the show?
Yeah. So, I think for the viewers as well, the favorite episode for like each season would be the ninja stuff.
Yes.
And so for season 3, I've already spoken with the folks at Edo Wonderland, and so we're going to go back and shoot the third episode. So every episode for the ninja one, I go back in time and I do training at Edinburgh. So this time, one of the ninjas would come forward in time to deliver my watch, which I left back in season 2. I don't know whether you realize that. And but he can't go back until he gets his modern day training. And I'll give him his modern day training. So the training would be things like doing like some smart doll work in my office. You know, he's trying to like, instead of using a craft knife, he's using his katana or something. Like,
Excellent.
And like how to dance in Shibuya.
Yes.
In ninja. So just that's like some part of the scenario.
Some part.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Looking forward to
Now
it.
I can see you've brought a friend along here, and looking at your smart dolls, you know, both Mirai and Kizuna are both absolutely gorgeous. Now, what was your main focus when you, I guess, designed them?
So the main thing was to basically bring Mirai, I guess bring her to life. So she's always been in like a 2-dimensional field, and bringing her out into the 3D world. I felt that this size of doll was the perfect platform for me to do so.
Yes.
And I focused a lot on the aesthetic looks, and while trying to balance out the articulation as much as possible. So if you do compare her to like other dolls of the same sort of category, you'll see that Mirai leans more towards the aesthetic rather than being too overly posable, like in the middle of the waist, for example. Okay. But having said that, I have introduced some new designs in the wrists and the ankles, which have 3 axes, which are not available in other products of the similar category.
Excellent. I guess we've seen a bit of your work with the next generation of smart dolls. Yeah, what can we expect from those? So
but that started off as an April Fool's, and there was much interest into it, and basically we decided to make it into reality. So I reached out to some robotics engineers, and like 6 weeks later we had like a moving prototype. Now the challenge with this is that is prohibitively is quite expensive, and at this size we need to like make motors on our own. So I did another April Fool's this year, whereby we have something called Smart Doll Plus, which is double the size of this. And because of that, we can fit in motors which are much bigger and available on the market.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so we've been doing that. So the challenges we've had is that we can use motors available on the market, but because everything is much heavier, it introduces like more problems basically.
Okay, right.
But I just got some contact from Tokyo a few days ago saying that they solved some problems and now like the arms are like fully functional.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, we mentioned before that we saw you at your panel. We found it incredibly informative, helpful, and more than anything, inspirational. Now, I guess, who do you consider yourself fortunate to have met? Like, who do you find is an inspiration to yourself?
That I've met personally?
Yes.
Okay. So one person who has had quite a bit of influence on me is his name is Aki Takanori, and he is the boss of a Good Smile Company. So I met him initially because I wanted to have an interview with him. I was writing for a magazine. I wanted to interview with him, so got an interview, and that's basically where we started our relationship. And ever since then, we've been very good friends, and I would do as much as I can to complement his business, and he would do as much as he could to introduce me to like his friends, which he works with, who I have basically also worked with in the past as well. So yeah, he has been quite a key role in my job, in my work in the Japanese pop culture field.
Excellent. Now, something else, like one of your favourite sayings that I personally like. I like to think that I live by is something leads to something. Nothing leads to nothing. Now that's surely in practice in everything that we do. Are you surprised by I guess the reaction that you've had? To the positive things that you do, and the way you've inspired people. Are you surprised by that? Were you expecting that kind of reaction?
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised, and this time in Sydney as well, I have lots of folks give me feedback about my writings at the same time as well. I think that it's very difficult to grasp the feedback once something's online, in the form of words.
Sure.
I'm very humbled to be able to meet folks who actually give me that feedback.
Fantastic. All right, and I think lastly, just in wrapping up, just as a cute question, what are your favourite Japanese snack?
Japanese snacks.
Yes, a favourite otaku food.
Japanese snacks. Ebisen. Yeah, I know it's kind of a very typical, maybe a bog standard thing, but it tastes good. And so people eat ebisen just like that.
Yes.
Do you know what ebisen is?
It's
kind of this long, finger type of, and it's got these twirlies. It's like prawns.
Yes.
Yeah, ebisen.
Yes.
And so people eat it like that, but I like to eat it on rice.
On rice.
So you can stick it on rice and a little bit of sauce, and it tastes good. And you can also stick it into your pot noodle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
wow,
it's
we'll give that a go.
Yeah, it's a multi-purpose snack.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Look, Danny, thank you so much for your time today.
Okay.
There aren't enough words to thank you, and wish you all the best in the future. And we can't wait to see what you come out with next.
Okay. Thank you for
so
having
much.
me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.